Hey, what's going on, guys? This lesson is on the topic of movability. Okay, so movability is something that is unique to stringed instruments in that once you learn a scale or a chord in one key, you can actually play that same scale or chord in any key. You can move it anywhere up and down the fretboard. Okay, so as a quick example, one of the scale patterns that you see often is the 3-note per string major scale pattern. Okay, that looks like this. Now this pattern can be played anywhere on the guitar. Depending on where you started on the low E string determines what scale it is. Okay, so if I wanted to make this the G major scale, I would simply start on the 3rd fret of the low E string, which is the note G, and then I would play this pattern. Okay, if I wanted to make this the A major scale, I would start on the 5th fret of the low E string, which is the note A. Okay, if I wanted to make it a B major scale, I start on the 7th fret, note B. Okay, so it doesn't matter, you can move this scale anywhere. That's what this means by movability. This applies to any scale pattern. It doesn't matter what scale pattern it is. Once you know the pattern for one key, you know it for all 12 keys. Okay, so that's how movability works. Okay, so this also works with chords as well. Alright, so not only scale patterns, it works for every single scale pattern, but it works for chords. Alright, so you have all different types of chords. You have sevenths, you have ninths, you have majors, you have minors, you have all kinds of chords. Take, for example, a C7 chord. Alright, that's a major, or I'm sorry, C major 7 chord. Okay, that has this particular shape right here, right? Your first finger is barring the 3rd fret, your low E string is X'd out, and you place your other 3 fingers as shown in the diagram. So that's a major 7 chord, C major 7, because it's here on the 3rd fret. But you can play the same chord anywhere, alright? And depending on the position of the fretboard you're at, where your lowest note is, that'll determine what type of major 7 chord it is, okay? So okay, you see that same shape, it's not moving, or it's not changing the shape, but you're just moving it up and playing it on different frets, making it a different chord. And this also works for open chords as well. Okay, so say, for example, you have an E major chord. Alright, your E major chord looks like this. You have open strings down here, and then you have your high E string and your B string are open as well. Alright, so now if you rearrange your fingering on this E chord, you can actually play it with your last 3 fingers and keep your first finger free, right? So here's your E major chord. Now if you move this up 1 fret and then bar the 1st fret with your first finger, you now have an F major chord, okay? Your lowest note is now F, whereas before your lowest note was E, but it's the same shape. The first finger is just taking place of the open strings, okay, since it's no longer open. It's the same thing as if you were to put a capo on your guitar, okay? Your first finger is now acting as the capo. Alright, and this chord can also be moved anywhere. Okay, so it works for all chords, it works for all scales. So if you look at the lesson on the caged system, Introduction to Caged, C-A-G-E-D, the introduction essentially explains how the open C, the open A, the open G, the open E, and the open D chords are movable in this fashion. But for the purposes of this lesson, I'm only using the E major chord to demonstrate how open chords are movable. But that's essentially what I talk about in the lesson on caged, okay? So, just a quick lesson. Everything on the guitar is movable. This is unique to stringed instruments. And if there's any questions or if there's anything I left out, feel free to ask. Thanks a lot.